Waiting. I think we are connected. Technology. It looks like it's. Once we're connected, I'll hit record because
Sure.
they don't need to see the pregame show. Here we go. Okay, super. All right, we are live. I see the hearts coming in. Hello, you guys.
Sweet.
Okay, welcome guys. Thank you for your patience. Hi, Robin. I see you. Hi, Roxy. Today we are in for a treat. We have a guest on the love train today. She is somebody who really had a profound impact on my personal journey. Because as I said to her earlier today, I was like an appliance running around holding the cord in one hand, going, where do I plug this in? How do I find love? Quite literally, I asked her, and she's like, I got you. So anyway, without further ado, she is an internationally known speaker, author. Gosh, you're an intuitive, like Susann, there aren't enough words anymore in the human language to describe the gifts that are coming forward, right? So please welcome you guys, Susann Taylor Shier, to our channel today. Susann's going to dig in on a subject that really I feel will help a lot of us connect some of those dots. So without further ado, welcome, Susann.
Thank you, Patty. So great to be here. Oh, I love our connection and really appreciate what you're offering into the world as well. So as many people as possible can really viscerally know that connection. Oh, because it's everything. Absolutely.
It really is. It really is. So where would you like to jump in and start?
Well, where do we want to start?
I think a little piece of your history
Okay.
will resonate with some in our community.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to just open that door a little bit about? And I'm happy to say anything.
Oh, I know you are. You go with what you feel.
Okay, great.
Go with what you can't. Yeah, they'll
Well,
pick
we
it
were
up.
just talking before we started live about my history, which is really you know, when I talk about my intuitive history, it's fascinating because I will say I was born numb and dumb and I wasn't, this intuitive kid or psychic kid, or, I felt like I had all these gifts to share and I had to close them down, which many people will talk about. I just sort of went, I don't know what I'm doing, on planet Earth. And it was just a normal so-called childhood. And then I got called, I got called um, after college. Yeah, after college. Then this was back in the early 70s. I was um, I was attracted to this community called the Emissaries, and this was in Colorado where I lived. And it was fantastic, but it had a cultish element to it that I really had to work through. Many of us did, anybody who's still alive with it had to, obviously, because we didn't realize how much of that influence was there on our behavior, right? So there's the downside to a cult and there's the upside to a cult. And I know my soul was going for the upside, but it got caught in some of the downside. And this related to a soul challenge or soul wound of mine. So it didn't surprise me in a certain way. So I find that all our challenges go way back to when we first did Earth incarnations. So do you want to ask me anything about the cult experience before? Because I just sort of put out
No,
a
I wanted.
yeah.
No, I think that I don't because the details as we know, like really, I want us to now we can pan out from there. But I just know that there are members in our community who did have an experience, and theirs maybe not was not the upside. So that's such a unique aspect,
Yeah.
and I love where you're going with this.
Well, I could
So
say one thing about that real quickly then, because I realized that I was drawn to community. My soul wanted to be in a community. and knew that community had, all of us being on the same page is what my soul knew from other worlds. We'll talk about that. My soul knew that really deeply. So when I heard there was this community that was oriented in the same direction, and it really was just being emissaries of light. And back then, it was basically, we are more than human. We are more than just our human self, which, this was 50 odd years ago when we were just starting things. And so I went, yeah, somewhere in me, I know that's true. So I found a group of people, and it was a worldwide organization, foundation, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't just a hippie cult, although those were hippie days. But it was that part, and just feeling like you were seen, understood, part of a community, all going in the same direction, that was fantastic. So for any of you who were in a cultish organization, if you can look at what it gave you instead of focusing on what it stripped from you, or the trauma that you've had because of it, that will help you move past what it didn't give you, so to speak. Yeah. So
So well said.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love talking about it because there's always a way through with any of our traumas, and we've all had them for sure. Yep. Yep.
Absolutely. It's like you said, and it often it's what brings forth your awareness of your gifts too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay, wait, what am I missing? Wait, why do I want to find love? And I'm glad you brought in this sense of community, because yeah, that absolutely was important to me in my journey. However, I was like, oh my God, but I feel like an alien.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Where are they? How do I find them? Right? How do we turn
Yeah.
the lights on?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So what, my work, so to speak, is my contribution is that I help people to connect to their soul's sense of community. Because if we're looking for community in the human world, that's when we can just in and of itself, you know, where, yes, we want our people for sure, but if it's not through a connection within us that feels connected to our people as a soul that is a universal quality, then the feeling is we'll just be caught in, are you my mother? Are you my mother? Are you my father? Are you the one that's going to help me give me what I want? And that's where the cultish and element can come in, is looking for love in all the wrong places in just the human 3D dimension. Yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned a word that I think that I would love for you to dig, the soul wound.
Ah. Ah. Aha. Yeah. So I find that every wound is the wound of separation, period. When we are fully connected, and all of us know even a moment of that, feeling connected, all is well. The problem dissolves. That's why we crave spiritual connection, because we know in that moment, at least if, as I say, if it's just one moment in our life, everything takes on a whole different perspective, perception, wisdom, you name it. So, the wound of separation. So, as souls, we all lived in other dimensions before coming here. We just did. This is not our first rodeo, right? You wouldn't be on um, this stream together if you didn't know you were a high level soul. And that's part of your challenge, is knowing you're a high level soul and not knowing how to bring it forward, how to connect with it. So it means that, all the people that are sort of simple souls here, and there's plenty of them, and that's fine, are looking to us because we're the high level souls that said, oh, look at that. Human existence fell. Human existence tripped and fell, got disconnected, became an appliance without the plug-in. Um, and there's, lots of stories about how that happened. It was just basically they bought into the wrong kind of plug-in, just to put it simply. And so those of us from larger dimensions said, oh my gosh, these people are in survival. They've come out of creation into survival. and we need to help them get back into creation again. The field of creation, fueled by love. We need to do that for them. So we came here, but we got caught a little bit on our way here in some of the woundedness that we bought into, which has followed us along the way. Because I don't believe that we came here as a school of learning, like got to learn this lesson and this lesson. That to me is boring. I went to schools, been there, done that. It's just like it's like, oh my God, that means that when something comes, some trauma or something comes up, it's like, oh, I'm learning a lesson, which makes it not something you really want to, jump through at all. But if you
Yeah.
go, oh wow, that is what's keeping me from my divine connection. It's like, let's just do this, people, and get back to that divine connection.
Yeah. So that perception of punishment and learning a lesson
Yes.
is an illusion of separation.
Yes. It's old
100%.
religious stuff too,
Right?
The
Yeah. And
punishment.
it's like, how can we keep you
Yeah.
separate? Oh, how can it? And then we get into I have to earn love. I have to
Mhm.
earn abundance, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
instead of versus looking at things as a state of being,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. And then there's a feeling that somebody outside of you knows something that you don't know. And that's when we really get into trouble. We talked about that cultish aspect of things, looking for someone outside of ourselves. Now, there are plenty of people that inspire and uplift us and catalyze our gifts coming forward. But to look outside ourselves is where we get into trouble. And at the same time, I know we say it's all within us. I know people say that. But what I have discovered is that it's not all within us because of this wound of separation that is at a soul level. So, what our soul is connected to is not coming in. It's not coming in. So, it's not inside completely. It's an oxymoron because you could say our connection to spirit and life is in every cell in our body.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's not within every cell in our body. So we have both. We have this divine connection and this wound of separation in every cell in our body.
I
Yeah,
know. I call it the noodle. It's like the noodle's like, what? But
yeah,
part of this ascension process though is remembering that we were already whole
yes,
and that the separation, was illusion. And then starting to, like for me, when I was able to make that connection, I could then recognize quite easily, oh wow, no, that's just separation. And
mhm,
so and then also I think you brought up a great point here. For me, Susan, a big part of my daily awareness that I reinforce in my own journey is that my soul's journey is eternal.
mm,
And that what I'm doing here, things that are coming from my heart, came directly from my soul. So it's that allowing, like it's like knock knock, who's there? It's your soul waiting for you to have some fun.
yeah,
You weren't you didn't come here to struggle, you didn't come here to suffer, you didn't come, like, you came here to play, create, and have fun. And this is one of the things that I, like anybody in here can tell you in my community, I'm like, what are we choosing to create? We're not our trauma. That is not at all who you are. And so I loved it that you brought forward that creation piece, because it's truly what we are. We're all creators,
yeah,
creators of our own reality, right?
yes, yes. And my definition of enlightenment is to be in love with life itself, which can be a bit of a leap for people who feel like they're not seen, not understood here. The feeling is, I'm a stranger in a strange land. How could I possibly love life? Life as I see it here, life as I see it seems to be a crazy thing, but that's not life. That is not life. We're coming into a time where, as I was writing recently and did a YouTube video on, um, we're becoming coming into a time where we have more and more permission to do joy. So we just have to do it. It's like that is in every cell. It's been scientifically proven that every cell in our body is wired for joy. But we
Yeah.
felt like, oh my God, I can't do joy. I'll be screwed over for it, right? Whether that relates to Joan of Arc or Mary Magdalene or whatever, I'll be screwed over for it. So I don't dare bring joy forward. But here we are. I mean, in the United States of America, we are seeing joy coming forward, even in leadership places. So it's like, hey, if they can do that, why can't I be joyful when I know my spiritual connection? And it is to joy, which is an outgrowth of love and creation. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that piece. Again, I can tell you that, I mean, I knew before I was really starting to be aware of who I really am. Um, I would be like, I would say I'm the only one in my happy bubble. And it get criticized. And I would have people say to me, it is impossible to be that happy. And I was like, what else is there?
Wow.
Like, I truly in my heart was like, wait, you want me to sit here and cry?
Yeah.
Why? Like,
Yeah.
and it's almost like we forgot, because what words come, right? What were we taught? Like, oh no, you need to be serious or be professional, or right? It's all of this. And
Yeah.
then we took play out. And I thought, if you want to teach kids quickly like this, have 80% of their school day be recess and the other 20% learning, and
Good
they'll
point.
explode in
Good
knowledge.
Good point. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
experiential too. And I think they're finding that more experiential learning helps. I was with a friend the other day who was um, going, can you believe what's going on in blah, 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 blah. And I said, it's all working out. It's like it's entertaining. And that's the way we need to look at it. This is just pure entertaining, watching things turn um, in the favor of light. It's just entertaining. And if we don't see it that way, then we get caught in the feeling. And really, if we think of it as a big, heavy duty thing, it's our own fear, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, do we see a larger perspective? Which we say, oh, we know there's a large, we know it's happening, it's all good and all of that. And then we go, oh, so, but back to what we were opening up about the worlds that we come from. In those worlds, they were pristine, they were pure. And as you said, the hardest part for, I find people who come to me for, and I've been doing this directly as soul mastery for 30 years. And before that, I was doing energy work and a bunch of other stuff for 20 years. So I found that people were saying, well, I want to stay connected. I want to be connected, but I don't know how. I don't know what that looks like or feels like. And we can talk about source and God and love and all of that, and that it's all within you. And then people feel like they're flailing and going, but it's not all within me. So what's wrong with me? Starts to come up. And then they feel horrible and go, I guess I'm the loser here. And I was like, this just can't be. This just can't be. So it came across my plate to start to discover where the worlds are that we've come from. And it's part of the Akashic Records. So I read a person's Akashic Records to find out the worlds they've come from. So that envelops, I like that, envelops their soul gifts and their strengths and all that they truly are as a soul, and they just have not had that embodied. They haven't known how to. So, as you know, Patty, what I do is take people on a journey to their soul world so they can experience it directly and have that experience in their body again, because their wound of separation is it's not safe to bring it here. It doesn't work to bring it here. And it's like, oh, yes, it is. And yes, you better.
It is, and we highly recommend it. And
Yeah.
I can speak to that a little too with my personal. And this is, guys, this is
Sure.
what you would get to you experience if you work with Susann. Is for me, I also had this perception that, oh my gosh, she's going to have to get a big rocket ship for me because we're going like it felt so far. I was like, well, let's go. Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but so my perception was that it was like so far
Yeah.
from me. And when I came to you, I remember I had gone to, there's a beautiful shrine in Los Angeles called Lake Shrine.
Mhm.
And I remember saying to you that, oh my gosh, I keep feeling there's love in my field. I buy trinkets with love in it. And I know love's a big part of why I'm here. But then when some people mention certain types of love, I'm like, how do I feel that? And I had gone to the shrine, sat in there, and was like, had tears coming through me because it's almost like a love portal there. Like it's been established as such a beautiful, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is a natural. I literally sat there and I remember saying to you, well, but when I left, I was like, where did it go?
Yeah.
Can I wait? I felt it coming through me. And you took me through this journey. And like, when I say quickly, it was absolutely 100%. I was like, oh, this feels so yummy, so true. And it was so great because and so it's so seamless, and it's almost like I said, like they've been knocking on your door and you know
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
and Susan's like, here, let me open this door and push him in.
Yeah. Get you guys together. Let's just
Yeah.
get you guys together. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because most of the time when people come to me, it's because they say, well, I was just guided to you. Or maybe a friend said something, but it's usually my soul just guided me to you. And that's all it takes. And that's what's going on. Yeah. That they're
Yeah.
ready to be connected in that deep kind of way where they don't have to feel that life is a burden, that they really can come back to their original blueprint for joy, love, creation, abundance, all those things that you as a soul know deeply from having eons of time in these other dimensions where these qualities of spirit exist. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that. And I think part of a nice part of this process too is that the expansion that happens
Hmm.
because we've got to start recognizing we're a multidimensional being, right?
Yeah.
We get so rigidly focused on what I call the who man. The who are you, man? But right? And it's that rigid focus and why am I thinking this? Why am I feeling this? And then you get in that rabbit hole or the gerbil wheel, I call it. You're on the gerbil wheel being chased by the saber-toothed tiger now.
Yeah.
And then right. And it's like, okay, no. And it's like, okay, wait, let me slow down and pan out.
Yeah.
Let me slow down and pan out. Because when you do that and you relax, now you're plugged in. But can you share maybe a story of like I there's so many stories in your books that which I really love because you can read just one soul's journey that maybe has one aspect of your soul. Like for me, you identified multiple. And I
Cool.
was like, oh, that makes sense. Wow.
Yeah.
But they all made sense, and right.
Mhm.
And like, but the way it came together, just sometimes in just hearing another, like how you made that connection for them, just really, even though your story's different,
Mhm.
it's almost like for me, it reinforces that remembrance or my own personal soul connection. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I'm not, for whatever reason, it didn't come into my DNA to be a good storyteller, which is like, okay, fine. But I can think of one one right now. I mean, because there are so many. Once I write them down, I
They're gone.
they're gone, so to speak. But I've been doing a lot of soul-centered medical intuitive um, stuff in the last year and a half now, which has been really fun because it's getting to the root cause of somebody's, chronic illnesses, which I know from hearing from people for years, they're so debilitating. If you don't have your health, how can you even focus on, people talk about abundance and they're like, well, I'm sitting here and I can hardly breathe and I'm going to talk about abundance, you've got to be kidding. So I'm like, oh, we got to help with that. But I had a woman who had, was it lupus and, oh, what's the other thing? Heavy duty digestive stuff. And there's some fancy words for it, and I can't think what they
Like
are right now.
Crohn's or one of those, or
Crohn's.
yeah.
Ding, ding, thank you. the Crohn's, and she was not able to eat anything hardly at all for years. It was like she was wasting away. And we did 2 sessions, and she was able to start eating everything again. It was crazy, and starting to eat everything again. And she is a animal communicator, beautiful woman from Canada who helps with animal communication and helping pets who and their owners mostly with their dogs being terminally ill and crossing over and all of that. So she was able to start that up again because before, when you're feeling that awful, you can't do squat kind of thing. So yeah, it was phenomenal as her soul just knocked on her door and said, this, you have to get to the root cause of it, right? It's not about just changing your diet and doing better exercise and being more motivated and, meditating. There's something in there that's holding the tide back to what is your contribution in the world. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I love you. Thank you for sharing that. And I know that that resonates with, that will resonate with some of our community members for sure.
yeah,
I remember you brought forth, I could share a piece from ours, is
sure.
one of the things that you identified for me is that you were like, oh, you're a parallel. And because I explained to you at a young age, like in my early 20s, I would hear people talking about all these horrible things that are going to happen to your body. And I would get this, I don't even say it anymore, chronic illness every year in this
Mm.
specific month. And there was one year that I went, oh, it took me down for so long. I said, I am never getting sick again. My
Mm.
body doesn't get sick anymore. And it never has. And I
Oh,
was like, Susan, how did I do that? What was that? And you explained to me one of mine is that I'm a parallel. And I would play with things like I would say, oh no, well, when I turn 40, I'm not getting the eyeglasses that everybody said that you have to get. Like that, all of these things. And even things like my hair doesn't grow. I stopped saying that. All of a sudden, even the girl that cut my hair was like, what are you doing? Because
oh,
she would only see me once a year. And then she's like,
right.
all of a sudden you turned into Rapunzel. And, and you tied all those pieces together with me that because you said, oh, well, you already know that version of you exists. And so, I mean, I'm bringing this in because there's so much. We're talking about this like, wanting wellness for yourself is
Yeah,
absolutely a priority, but there's a fun aspect too,
yeah,
because you now tap into those experiences that your soul has had and
yeah,
you're bringing it into the physical body now and playing, right?
yeah.
We're here to play.
Oh, those are such great examples. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let me help people understand what Patty means, what you mean by parallel. You're existing right now in parallel universes. It doesn't mean parallel timelines. It doesn't mean parallel lives like you're in Europe or India or here or whatever, which is, can relate to this idea that we're taking on other people's energies, which does not have to happen. Not at all. That is a handicap that people bring to me, and I'm like, you don't have to have it. That is not God given, that you're an empath taking on people's energies. I love working with that because it's like people feel just strapped down. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything because I take on people's energies. That is a soul wound, soul challenge. It is not your true space. But anyway, you're existing in parallel universes, universes that are parallel to this one. And basically, in those universes, you could say it's the field of infinite possibilities for creation. So, as a soul, Patty lives in these worlds that has access to anything being possible. And because she is available to receive that and know that to be true, even here, then she could go, well, of course my hair can grow. Of course, why not? Because it is a spirit driven transformation. It's like water turning into wine, all those kinds of things. We go, oh my God, only one person could do that. It's like, no, we all have that gift. And Patty's a living example of that. It's great. It's great. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can have fun with it, and knowing that we all like, you really do get a true knowing. The awareness for me was like, oh, what can I play with? What can I play? I play with all kinds of stuff, like,
Yeah.
and it's so cool. And can you speak a little bit more? Because we do have some empaths in here, and I love what you said.
Mhm.
You're echoing what I say to them, which is, oh no, it's your energy. It's your energy, and that we don't. And many empaths have that have a healing nature about them too, right? And they get
Yes.
that perception that, oh, well, I have this ability, so I take on someone else's energy. And it's like, no, no, no. Right. So can you speak a little more about that?
Sure. Sure.
Because this is going to help, I think,
I
many in our
know.
community. Yeah.
Absolutely. So here's the short version. When we were souls out in parallel unit, for those of you who come or are still existing in those universes, you'll understand this. As a soul, you could transform anything. The water to wine, if you had an orange and you'd rather have an apple, you could just go, done. Okay. That was an energetic way to bring things back to light or to just play, like you're saying, just play with creation. So then you come here and you see that this world is very different. And you're like, oh my gosh, they're suffering. This person is suffering. Why don't I take that suffering in and turn it around? Because I know how to do that. I can just transform it for them. Um, I'll transform it for them, and then they'll be light again, because that's my job, is to bring creation as light. It's like, no, that is not your job. Because of free choice here, free will, it is not your job. And most of the time, you don't have their permission anyway. So you're acting as God, which is like, that's not cool either. That's misuse of power. But the other reason that you do that, that's one level of it. The other reason you do that is because you don't have a solid place in yourself. Okay, we talk about sovereignty the last number of years. If you're from parallel universes and you're existing here without a big chunk of that connection in you, then you are sort of, it's like Swiss cheese. You're just, and, people go, I feel like I don't belong here. It's because they don't have their fullness of their energy in them, because they're a much higher level soul. They're designed to have a lot of expanded energy in their body. That's how it's supposed to be. Okay. And we're all supposed to have that, period. But anyway, so if you don't have that because of your wound of separation, you're walking around with that feeling of, well, what can I bring back to light so I can know light? What can I take from out there that is not, that is in fear, and transform it so there will be more light here, instead of going, I'm just going to bring light in from my parallel dimensions and create from that play and fun, and then you're the inspiration and the catalyst for others to go, the Sally meets Harry or Harry meets Sally thing, which is, I want what she has. The
Yep.
more we are living in our joy, the more easily others can go, wow, that's a cool choice. Free choice, remember? That's a cool choice. I like that choice. I never believed I could have it, but now I see that it's safe to have that choice, right? Other
Yes.
lifetimes, it wasn't even safe to have a choice like that. You got burned at the stake, right?
Yep.
But in this lifetime, it is. So go for filling yourself, right? And um, it's been scientifically proven that what we hold radiates to the whole world.
Mhm.
Okay, that's where that idea of oneness comes in. What you hold radiates to the vibration of everybody in the world, in their core, in their soul, not personality. We're not one in personality. That's crazy. That's where we
Right.
think, oh, we take things on because we're all one. That's no, it's not the human part that's all one. Not at all.
No, I mean, what you just defined is literally, this is the intention of this whole community.
Great,
Quite literally, I'm
great.
like, shine your unique light,
Mm-hmm.
shine your unique light, and don't get entangled. And there's a big illusion around love and what your obligation is around it too, and that we're not here to save other people. We're not here, right? It's about, no. shine your light and expand and radiate it out. And then others will go like what you just said. I want some of that.
Yeah.
How do I get it? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, love is a great um, commodity as well in terms of our sense of lack of connection. We all go, love wins, love is everything, but we don't know what that is for ourselves. So we get caught in the feeling of giving to others, giving and receiving love, which becomes people pleasing, and it never feeds us in the long run. Because, I mean, that in and of itself, giving is wonderful, being generous is wonderful. Patty and I are doing that right now. We're just being generous because that's what love does. But if you're not connected to your own root, and I don't mean earth root, I mean universal root of divine love, if you're not connected to that, then what you're doing is just sharing human to human, and you never get your tank filled. Because how many people have said to me, I give and give and give, and nobody gives back in return? Because you're giving to the empty people, you seem to be attracted to the people who need it the most, versus being able to get your own divine love. And again, that's what I did with Patty. I do with everybody, get you reconnected to that true source of divine love. So you know what your unique gift is of love from love. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, thank you for bringing that forward, Susan. It's so,
Sure.
I mean, and it really does. It's and then you can't like it's exciting to expand it and shine more, right?
Yeah.
And and the way I put it with my clients is I'll say to them, okay, you're great at exhaling. You're great at exhaling and being conscious of, are you giving and receiving actually is the same energy, but you must give to yourself first.
Yeah.
And right. And because I too, you come across people that say, oh, but I've been giving and giving and giving, but no one's getting it. I've been right. And it's that effort. And again, it's that like what I call pan out,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And in giving to yourself, it's it from that true divine source. It literally instantaneously seems to, right, bless you, come in. You know, she's sneezing on it. It's absolutely the truth. Give to yourself first. Bless you. So,
Ah, it is. It's
um,
very true. And it's more than just self-care.
yeah,
We've done a lot with self-love to start to honor ourselves, but unless you connect to the divine aspect of love, it's not, and it's unconditional love, which we all crave, then there isn't a feeling that your waterfall tank is filled all the time, that you have the source of it coming in all the time. You have to work at, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
so funny that you used a waterfall reference because after my session with you, one of we talked about being Hadarian, and I painted literally a picture of the star system it was from and a waterfall that
I
poured into
remember
a
that. You
big
sent it to
heart
me, didn't
near
you?
Earth. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It
beautiful.
and it sits on my desk.
I'm so
So
glad.
it's so cool because I really did like this is how powerful this process is, you guys, is that literally it wasn't like, oh, I felt a little love pouring in. It literally was like, oh, this is flow. It literally is flowing, and that's that zone that we all want to get into. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
thank you for bringing that up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I do want to, before we've got a few minutes left here, Susan, can, can you please talk about your new book? I'm so excited.
Oh, oh, okay. Well, intuition. Um, yes, it's a natural gift, but most people are not as good at it as they'd like to be. And over the last few years, I've been teaching intuition for a while. Well, let me go back quickly to the story. When I started waking up and realizing I had a little intuition, and it was just a little bit, and again, that was a while ago, people were like, well, in order to access your intuition, you just have to meditate more. And I was like, BS. I meditate. I'm not very good at meditating. I want to get to my intuition. I really want to feel my guidance with me. And I know I have to be in a more expanded place. And so I said, okay, you guys, if you want me to be more intuitive, and talking to my guides because they're my best buds, um, give me some ways to know I can trust it. Give me some ways to know how to access it in real ways. Give me some ways to know how to make choices, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they started giving me all these exercises. And I said, well, it's time. And this was years ago. And it was time to write a book about it. So anybody could read the book and have access to it. They didn't have to find me to do a workshop, et cetera, et cetera. But I am doing a book and a workshop. But it's
Yeah.
coming out the day after Labor Day on September 3rd. And it's called Intuitive Magic, because magic is the name of intuition. Practical guidance to awaken your soul's gifts.
Love it.
So, and the workshop, because I love the workshop because I want people to have a lot of practice and actual experience, trusting their intuition in a setting where you can go, oh, that worked. Or they can say to me, what's wrong with me? Why is this not working? And I can answer it right then there on the spot. And that just makes all the difference for people to get some solid knowing how their intuition works. And I'm not just talking about which Claire is good for you. I'm like,
Right.
how do your guides want to work with you and how are all the ways to do it? But I'm very excited because intuition, I find, is a great way to expand our divine connection in a very practical way. When we see signs and etc. As I said, know how to navigate your life from a larger perspective, your intuitive wisdom, your soul's voice, divine intelligence, all of that, then life becomes joyful and easy, right? We don't spend hours and hours going,
Absolutely.
oh my God, what choice do I make? Oh my God, I'm terrified. Should I, shouldn't I? All that kind of stuff takes up all our life force for sure. Yeah.
So true. And we're being invited to feel first. And it's like completely the opposite, right? Of the separation experience we've been having,
Yes.
where it's like, oh no, this came up. Oh no, I have to let me get in the noodle, and which is the gerbil wheel. And here we go. As soon as you
Yeah.
get on the gerbil wheel, here's the saber-toothed tiger that you think is in your living room and it's not,
Yeah.
versus intuition is, oh, wait a minute, how does this feel? And
Yeah.
from there, you feel it first.
Yes.
It's part of your divine, it's coming from your divine connection.
Yes.
Now you take action. And I say, take messy action because you can't mess it up when it's intuitive. Just
Right.
go towards it, follow that inspiration,
Yes.
and then you gain the knowing. And
Yeah.
then you feel again. And it's an awareness of your own energy. And I
Yeah.
loved it that you talked about the relationship with the guides. And it's like, all of that when you come together, like it's so great. Like you got a team. You've got a team and play with your team. So I'm so
Yes.
excited and I want you, and I'll make sure that we put the information up about the workshop that goes with the book. Because for me, when I first met with Susan, you had I think it was like 6 or 7 workshops that we did as a follow-up, and it it's great. Sometimes we get a new piece of our puzzle,
Yes.
right? And you're really, really excited. And then everyday life starts happening again. And then you go, oh, wait, I wanted to like solidify it. And for me, it kind of like we're impatient, a lot of us. I want to feel yummy all the time right now. And it was so great because it was so deeply supportive. And then you brought through some activations and you would just connect everybody. So, and it's such a really, it gives you, so you get that, it's like you get the new piece, you feel
Mm.
expanded, but then you stabilize in it.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
that, right?
Exactly. That's a really well said. Really well said. Then you
Yeah.
stabilize it and you know it, not just trust it, but you know it in yourself. And you know how to know that it's true. Where's your true barometer of knowing in yourself, like you said, with the feeling thing, which is all heart. It's not third eye, it's heart.
Yes.
is where we really get in touch with our truest intuitive voice. Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
said it so well.
Oh, well, I learned from a master. So I'm gonna give you, oh gosh, we have so many, some people saying, oh, thank you, I needed this right now. So to give
Oh,
you an idea, Susan, of where our global love train, we have Quebec, Canada, we have someone from Cape Town, South Africa here.
oh, hi, Cape Town. I was there last year. Yay.
Beautiful. Another two from South Africa that I see, Saskatchewan, Canada, Denver, Colorado, Slovenia. Welcome, you guys. New York City,
Hello.
Arizona.
Oh,
Amazing. These guys are absolutely loving it.
oh,
So again, we think first from the bottom of my heart, Susan, thank you for sharing this, your wisdom and your experience and sharing your new book in the workshop. We will,
thank
how
you.
to reach Susan, how to find her books. It's all going to be posted in our community section, guys. And there'll be a link also in the description of this. This will live on the site as a video as well. And Susan, wow, you are welcome to come and play anytime. And I'm hoping to, like, down the road, once the book is out and going on, to touch base with you again and have you come back in and maybe
Good.
and share some more with us of your amazing wisdom.
Great. So happy to be with you, Patty. And thank you, dear audience, for all that you bring to it, for sure, because everybody, it's a community of love and connection and wanting to contribute more. And we do it as a collective in such beautiful ways. So thank you, each one. Yeah.
Absolutely. All
Yeah.
right. Sending you big, big love, Susan.
Oh, thanks, Patty. So much
Okay.
love to you.